Alright, well, let's get into it. We're going to be talking about the Little Big Planet 4 Prologue by Waylon Hunt. So, I don't know how to put it. If there was one word that could really describe the Little Big Planet 4 Prologue, it would have to be disappointing. I was very let down playing it. See, at first, I didn't have any hopes of it. When I first saw the trailers and videos, it just looked like somebody was attempting to make something that would never be, which is Little Big Planet 4. And I wasn't really interested because I didn't see any original themes, I didn't see anything that wasn't done before, and I didn't see anything eye-catching. And to be honest, the thing that really interested me to play the Little Big Planet 4 Prologue was the quality, because his most recent show-offs of Little Big Planet 4, they look pretty good. Like they've interested me. Like maybe this game will actually be pretty good. But I played the prologue twice now, just in case I was feeling a certain way at the moment, but not then. But I played it twice, and I still feel the same. So let's go ahead and get into this, and this video is going to be split into categories. So let's go ahead and delve into the first category, the story. Alright, so starting with the story mode, or adventure mode, whatever he's calling it. The story mode, well, he and some might say that, hey, it's just the prologue, you can't really judge the prologue. Yes, you can. You can judge the prologue. The prologue, if you're going to release it chapter by chapter, then the first thing you release is supposed to be impressions for the rest of the series. And it's not looking good. I'll tell you that. It's not looking too good. There are little things good about this, and there are multiple things poking out bad about this. But at the moment, we're just going to start on the story, and we're going to ignore the lack of levels on the map at the moment. So, the story mode. I don't exactly know the entirety of it yet, but I'll give you from what I got from the prologue. You're in the introduction level, and the level is, just like any other Little Big Planet introduction level. That I might say it is shorter. It is shorter than any other LBP introduction, but nevertheless still a Little Big Planet introduction level. And then at the end of the introduction level, you're standing by the title, the logo. The letters get sucked up by some sort of purple mist of an evil laughter. And then Sackboy wakes up in the next cutscene, being struck by purple lightning. And some villain named Arternius, which I think is the main villain of the game, is explaining how he's bored and going to take over Craft World now. Reasoning, logic, sense, zero. Just villain out of nowhere. Like you had a nightmare, you wake up, the villain's here, and he's gonna take over Craft World for no reason. Already seems like lazy writing, but we'll go ahead and continue. And, you're Sackboy, so you have to stalk it, but some weird dude whose name is Log, he's an original character. He has a very weird appearance, and there's no explanation so far to what about his appearance. It maybe gets explained later on in a later chapter in the game, but he's just there in the gardens. And that, I might add, the first cutscene at least, is supposed to be taking place in Loon, but the thing is, it doesn't really seem like Loon. I mean, from the footage that you'll see eventually, it's gonna look like the gardens, and any Little Big Planet veteran, or just at least a normal player, can say, yeah, that's the gardens. Like, I don't know what he means by Loon, but, and I'm going to ignore him putting rare inside of the introduction level, let alone him having Little Big Planet YouTubers inside of the game as cameos. because we don't cover cringe on this channel. But so yeah, you know, you have to stop this villain, and the first creator key later you meet is the queen. The queen basically, you know, tells you that you're back and you have to sort this out. You know, typical LittleBigPlanet stuff. But a little bit after, not even a little bit after, seconds after you meet the queen, Da Vinci's here. No explanation why Da Vinci's in the gardens, and he's just there. And he's different from how he was before, but not in a good way. It's like he's suddenly like, he was always forgetful, but now he's like stupidly like forgetful. Like every time his text box comes up, I want to kill myself, because I know there's just gonna be some dumb joke about how, oh, I'm old, I forgot about this, did I say this, did I do this, did I think of this? Like, dude, we get it, he's old, you don't have to like shove it in our faces. It's getting to the point where the character feels like it's going to get ruined just because of his age. But nevertheless, Da Vinci is the tutorial character teaching you what to do and how to do, just like in LittleBigPlanet 2. There's no explanation why Da Vinci elements are in the gardens, or why the gardens is called Loom. But, you know, I guess it doesn't matter, because Wayland doesn't think it matters, so I guess it doesn't matter. Let's see. After that, you get a dreamer orb at the end of the level. Now, there's no story, there's no this is a dreamer orb, or this is what it does, or story reason why they're here or back. You just collect it, and Da Vinci completely ignores it and just makes a cringy joke about the scoreboard. So, dreamer orbs are back, I guess. Reasoning or plot reasoning wise, no idea. Maybe that'll get introduced later on, but it's not really smart to introduce or explain things in the first chapter. It's like, for a prologue, there's barely anything explained at all. It's not even a prologue, it's more of like an opening cutscene, because there's not any levels at all really. There's only 2 playable levels, and they're both like a second long. But knowing that, we're gonna get on with it. After that, you know, Da Vinci talks to the king and queen. They talk about how he needs to go on this grand adventure, and he needs to find his old pod. I don't know what he means by old pod. And the level's name is Touch Pod. He also capitalized Touch Pod in comment on the adventure pack. So the Touch Pod and the pod are apparently 2 different things. There's no explanation what the touch pod is. But, you know, I guess it doesn't really need one, since Wayland doesn't think so. Odd Talk, Toggle, and Swoop are here. They have no levels in the prologue. Not even any little short playable, like, sequences in the prologue, which is absolutely dreadful, I must add. Just so dreadful. And they're not gonna do anything because they can't talk, but at least they have little interactions. Right? At least he gave them interactions, and they all get in the pod and they leave. And I forgot that Da Vinci cannot come with them. There's no explanation why Da Vinci can't come with. Da Vinci just can't come with. So yeah. Anyway, let's get on to the second portion. Originality. Alright, let's go ahead and get started for this. Originality in the prologue so far? Barely any at all. I mean, the originality is dense. The first world isn't even original. The tutorial, like the introduction, is not original at all. There's no originality. It literally just rips off LittleBigPlanet 1 and LVP PSP style of, you know, looks. Even to the point where it does it horribly. There's barely anything in the introduction. It's so blank. I mean, PSP and LVP1 had an excuse for that. They didn't have as much as we have now, but we have 16 layers and multiple items and objects we can use to make things look like interesting and very detailed. There's no excuse for that. That's just lazy and dreadful attention to detail. And you know, the first world is the gardens. Nothing new there. Music, nothing really new heard so far other than Arturnus' theme, but nothing really new. Characters, there are 2 original characters so far, so that is something. And the character design, well, Arturnus' character design at least looks cool. The other guy, he just looks like somebody just pressed a random button on the costume changer. Level design, the level design is definitely original, but not good. Not good by any means. And I'll explain this later on in the level design portion of the video. Other than that, well, the cutscenes are actually very, very, very well made. I would say the cutscenes are the best thing about this project. I don't know if I could say the story is original because he said the story was inspired or something by Rare. So I don't know if it's actually Rare's story and he's just reimagining it or this is a true story. So I'll just leave that untouched for at the moment. And speaking of level design, let's get into the level design department. Alright, judging by this small little cutscene, you're thinking, oh my god, this looks so good. This looks like quality. This is gonna be a really enjoyable good level, isn't this? The level looks good. The level definitely has its looks. And the only thing I can really say I like about the level is some of its background details, some of its hidden secrets, and I think that's really it, to be honest. Because if I'm going to get into the level design is not amazing. So, for one, I don't know if Wayland designed these levels, but whoever did, they most likely do take like some sort of level like design class or something of the sorts. Like pathways look like somebody got this circle, like the circle shape, and just smeared it. Now, I don't know if that's what devs did, but it's clearly not the most optimized way to make a ground or some sort of walking material of the type. And the level just overall feels blank in some aspects, empty. Like, there's a lot missing, or there's no life to the level. But nevertheless, the level does have some good looks, but that's the only thing it has, looks. And some things are just so generically boring looking. Like this is part where you learn how to walk in and out of layers. And the part I talk about in particularly is the part that's on screen at the moment, where it's this part with like wooden walls or like bricks or something, but it's just so generic looking. It's just rectangles with like apples and oranges on top of them, and some of them have nothing. Like, it's so bland looking, and the background is just copied and pasted with these trees that aren't even trees made for this project. They're trees already made from LittleBigPlanet 1, just retextured and given out as an object too. And the trees aren't even leveled on par to like the level. It just looks like somebody copied and pasted them all on the same level, the background. Now, this one part that's being shown at screen at the moment, this is, I think, the best part about the level, just because it shows a little bit of creativity in what could have been. But other than that part, the rest of the level is dreadful. Cool, there's an Easter egg, the stripey tail, but it's not relevant at all to any of this. And there are the tree and cloud stickers that were in LittleBigPlanet 1, but it feels like that LittleBigPlanet 4 so far is taking... Well, it looks like it doesn't have a original story to tell, and it doesn't look like it's good enough to be considered a LittleBigPlanet 4. And in all honesty, it really looks like it's just holding on to nostalgia and relying on other LittleBigPlanet games to help it get its footing, because it can't come up with anything original. So other than that so far, we're gonna get into the way the game does things. Alright, well, this part is called Brains. Maybe very confusing, but this is basically just things that make sense and should have just honestly never happened if whoever designed this had the thoughts of, hey, what could happen or this could go wrong, you know? So, one thing I'm gonna go ahead and already say, Da Vinci is huge. There's no reason why he's ginormous. He just is. And he isn't that big in past LittleBigPlanet games, so somebody definitely needs to work with the size a little bit, as well as some prizes. Some prizes are just copy and pasted prizes from other LittleBigPlanet games, such as the King, Queen, and the Oak Tree. And the Oak Tree's not even called Oak Tree, it's just called Oak. And you wanna know what's different about it? Different color textures. Whoa. Yeah, that's right. He just textured the tree different color, put it into a prize bubble, called it a day. King and Queen, same thing, different texture, added like 1 or 2 more stickers, called it a day. So, if anything, it seems like a waste of a collectible prize to me. And another problem, levels 2 seconds long. There's not really any more to say about that. It's just, don't call it LittleBigPlanet 4 if you're not going to make the quality up to par. I mean, how can people dog on LittleBigPlanet 3 so much, while LittleBigPlanet 3 is blowing this quote-unquote LittleBigPlanet 4 out of the water? If anything, Wayland Hunt needs to take a bit of design choices from past LittleBigPlanet games, or at least take something from LittleBigPlanet 3. Because the way this project's going at the moment, other than its cutscenes, it's not going to be good. And it's just going to be one big, long, 1 to 2 hour movie instead of an actual game. But other than that, I don't think there's anything else to say about LittleBigPlanet 4. Other than it just has a lot of weird, dumb, and noticeable problems. I guess I can leave this video on a good note and the summary. In summary, LittleBigPlanet 4 still has time to be fixed, and if anything, I think the best thing Wayland Hunt could do is take down the prologue, work on it for a little bit longer and re-release it, because for something that's been in works for multiple of years, this looks like something that's been made in 2 weeks. That may sound disrespectful, rude, or hurt some feelings who support or respect this project greatly, but these are just genuine facts that not just me, but other people who I have asked about this, if they noticed the same problems. Even the sticker here, the sticker, mushroom, barely even original. But LittleBigPlanet 4, it's not good. I'm sorry, it's not good. It can be good, but as we speak at the moment, LittleBigPlanet 4 is not good. Its writing isn't good. Its level design isn't good. Its story so far, I don't know what it is, so I can't decide if the story is good or not until the full game is out. But its plot doesn't seem very good so far. And there's even some noticeable bugs, but that comes inside of every game, so you can't really say a game is bad for its bugs. All in all, this project doesn't seem good enough yet to be called LittleBigPlanet 4. I really do hope it gets better. If I play the first chapter and the first chapter is not up to par, then I'm just gonna make a conclusion video that LittleBigPlanet 4 is unredeemable. Let's hope it never gets to that point. This is Boxworks signing out, and if you saw this, Wayland Hunt, take notes. And the best notes I could give you is just like the comment on the adventure pack. Play through the prologue to LittleBigPlanet 3, and maybe you'll come back noticing what you did wrong. All in all, Boxworks signing out.
Alright, I think the prologue, okay, it's not bad. Just like Dante said, it's not bad. But it is empty. It is not enough originality, and it needs work. It needs lots of more detail, and the story doesn't really make too much sense. It needs like more. It needs to make sense. Make it make sense, basically.
When you said make it make sense.
Alright, well, LP4 isn't bad. It's pretty mid, but the only thing I'm really confused on is about how and why. The story is barely explained in a fucking prologue. You don't explain the story halfway through the game, you explain it in the beginning.